Pam and Deveter show is
Do you know what song I have
here.
in my head right now? Is that Eminem song? You know, look who's back again. Like that one.
Hello, darling.
Hello, how are you?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well. Happy New Year.
I know, right? Happy New Year.
I
We
know,
haven't
like we've
seen,
chatted.
yeah, but we haven't seen each other.
No, we haven't.
Oh my goodness. So, hi.
How's it going?
It's going really well. Busy as usual, as I'm
Mhm.
sure it is for you. Just before you came on the live, you were doing something really important. You want to
Yes.
tell people what you were doing? That was
Oh, you
really
mean like when I was like literally sliding in at like 11 o'clock?
important.
Oh my gosh. The reason being
Mhm.
is because silly me, decided to go live at the literal exact minute that we restocked silver streamline metal.
They are restocked, y'all. So open up another tab and go ahead because I know y'all have been waiting. I
I
saw
mean,
somebody who was already in the live. Like I keep going back and I haven't seen them yet. So go on over to the website right now. Click open another screen. You can stay with us, but just click open another tab. Go to the Furls Crochet website and snatch up your metal hooks while they are in stock.
so I'm going to go ahead and do some like disclaimers right here, right now. It's sizes G through P.
Mm.
That is it. There are no smaller sizes, although we are testing them. Where is she? A little bitty F right here. So they're
Ooh.
being tested at the moment for all the good things, making sure that they, are worth bringing in because you got to do the testing.
I mean, I feel like you should send me an F so that I
Yeah,
can make a doll.
right?
And I mean, I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
That's a very valid point.
I'm just
Okay.
saying. So I can make
So they're
sure
being
it holds
tested.
up.
The 12 and 15 are not currently being tested, and these are solid aluminum through and through. 12 and 15, they're going to get pretty darn heavy. So please keep that in mind. They are not coated in anything. They are polished aluminum. These are not nickel plated. They're not anything. They are polished, solid aluminum. So that's little disclaimer there. Now, next disclaimer. We do not know when we're getting more in. So if they're selling out, they are sold out. We've been waiting and since May because we launched these the first time on my birthday. Happy
And
birthday.
they like,
and then they were gone.
Yeah.
And then it took this long to get them back in. So we are currently looking at how can we produce them faster because, we did a small test. Obviously, went very well. People love them.
Yeah.
So then we tried to do a mass production of them. And it turns out what was easy to do with like this many hooks, not so easy with this. So we are trying to figure out a way to produce them more quickly so that we can have more and in other colors. Right now, this is all you get.
This is all you get.
Sorry. I feel like I'm the bearer of great news. They're back in stock. And then I have to bring everyone down a notch. I feel terrible for saying
this is what you get. Get what you get.
Get what you get, and you don't get upset.
You don't get upset. Congratulations. A Facebook user just ordered. Congratulations to you. You were able to get it. I'm so happy for you.
Katie is saying, sorry, I'm late, girls. Had to order my medals. Feels like I missed big info. That is the big info. You missed nothing.
Nope. That's the big info.
The only info is they're only still in sizes G through P, 4 through 10 millimeter. We're testing smaller. We are not testing anything bigger at this time because they're solid aluminum, solid polished aluminum, no plating. So I also saw Odyssey restocks Monday. So your girl's been busy. And what I did was I created a landing page just for upcoming restocks and new releases. So now that I say that, I'm going to go. Actually, I think the link is in the description of this video.
There's a whole page for to let people know.
I have a ridiculous number of tabs open. Please hold.
You are not alone.
I am getting a link Okay. Where is it? I'm dropping a link in the comments here. Restocks and new launches. So this page is specifically for just like what is just coming up kind of immediately. All dates subject to change, please. Like, again, another caveat disclaimer. Because we want to give you some information because we've heard like you want to know what's coming up.
Right.
The only reason we haven't really disclosed too much is because things change. And a lot of times it's so out of our control and we feel terrible. But we're going to try this. We're going to give you the information. You can see what's coming up. So it says Odyssey restock on Monday. It is going to be over 1,000 hooks in a variety of sizes and colors. So we're sprinkling it in. It's not going to be like one color necessarily all sizes. It's just what we have. But it's going to be quite a bit.
Nice.
So there you go. And I think what we're going to try to do, because typically what we would do is like, as we would quality check them, we would just add them to the site. So sometimes it would be 10 or like 20 or, you know, like as we would do it, we would add them. But what we're hearing is that a lot of people don't know about it, either because they didn't sign up for the restock alerts or it was only a few. So by the time they got there, they were gone, things like that. So instead, we're going to save it and just like once a month. So we're going to QC them throughout the month and whatever we have ready to go on that date, put it all at once. So hopefully that means you'll have a better chance. Yeah.
I love that. It just makes it easier on you all instead of dribs and drabs, you know, and then folks getting upset because they didn't see the restock and blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I love this idea. Good stuff. Thanks, Furls, for thinking ahead and thinking of us, you know, your consumers. I love that. Super cool.
You're welcome. So hopefully.
I love that.
Yeah.
Way to be proactive.
Pardon me?
I said, way to be proactive from Michelle. Michelle, I believe that's how you. Aww.
We are doing everything we can to have every single zodiac done by the end of the year. Again, things can happen because we've been trying to hit Leo for a couple of years now, and every time we get it, we're just like,
this is not it.
Not quite.
Yeah.
So there will be times where. So I guess what I'm saying is, we are prototyping the remainder of the zodiacs this year. If they meet the standards that we're looking for and the color combinations, you will see your zodiac sign. But we're not just going to like toss stuff out there just because it's ready. We want to make sure everyone has what they need.
Yeah,
so
I love that.
Yeah. Someone was asking how many metal. It was a couple thousand. So we tried really hard. But I know everybody. Did you hear them? They jingle.
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't that make an amazing wind chime?
I love.
Don't use them for a wind chime. But yeah, they're so pretty.
Love. Yeah, I'm excited for the smaller hook whenever that becomes available. I think it's just such a great idea, and it's pretty. It has a lovely feel to it. So I'm definitely a metals girl. I love it. Love it.
I was worried that it would get. This might sound weird, so bear with me for a moment, but it would almost get hot when you're crocheting because just from your hand, right? Like I run hot.
Yeah.
You saw me in New Orleans. Yes. I did not fare well. It was embarrassing.
She's very sweaty.
It was not good. In the air conditioning. I just look at heat and I'm like, oh. So I was really worried that these would start to feel weird in hand, but they don't.
They don't.
Do they get a lot of fingerprints? I mean, it's metal. Kind of like a stainless steel fridge almost.
Right. So, not anything that's annoying or off-putting.
Like I've been doing weird things to my hook today with like just like clutching it and loving it. And I mean, it's fine. I usually take because I do the photography for things. It's a weird way to say it. And I just usually have a microfiber cloth, like the one I use for my glasses lenses. And I just, right here. And then I just,
wipe them
polish
off.
it up.
Yeah. Beautiful. Look at the shine. I love it.
Yeah, me too.
Such a good hook. Such a good hook.
Mandy, it was quite warm in NOLA. That is an understatement, my friend. So I'll never forget, because the Starbucks in the lobby of that hotel closed at like, what was it, 1 o'clock?
1 o'clock. Like, who does that?
We're at a conference. We need
1
to
o'clock.
be
They could have made so much money.
I know. So what we did, Crystal and I decided we need to get Pam some coffee. I think maybe we needed to get Crystal coffee. I can't remember who it was. We needed it. I'm like, you know what? I bet if we just walk out the door and go down the street, we're going to hit a coffee shop. Right? We made it to the corner. I said some words I can't repeat, but basically, we're going back. No offense. You'll find it somewhere else. It was not happening.
Yeah, it was definitely hot in NOLA. It was definitely hot.
Well, it was July.
It was July.
It was terrible.
Yeah, it was hot. It was hot. So folks are asking about Wander Yarn updates, restocks of colors, or maybe even new weights.
So new weights, not yet. We have samples we're trying. The process is long, but like we want to is I guess the answer. So it's in the pipeline. We're just not at a place yet where we've been able to get the go ahead on that. We have other things that we're hoping that are closer to being finalized first, if that makes sense, with yarn weights. Restock of colors will be happening. So the same thing keeps happening. So we put our order in October. There was a huge factory shutdown due to COVID again. Which I mean is good, because if there's outbreaks, you don't want them. They got to take care of themselves. They need to rest and heal and not. So I believe it has been shipped, but it is going by boat. So it can take a little while to get here. I would, if I was a betting lady, I would say May. Maybe sooner, but like it takes. No, now that I say that, has it shipped or is it about to ship? It's one of the two. But I'm thinking it'll probably be May, unless things are going really well and it gets here faster. But,
feeling like May.
I would think, like, just to temper my expectations a little bit, I think that's probably real. Now, saying that, between now and then, we're going to have new colors hitting the site. Hopefully early next month.
Oh, nice.
So there's going to be some new colors. They're really pretty. I believe we gave sneak peeks before.
You did.
So those will be releasing soon.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. I love this one. The metal crochet hook is beautiful on my hands and they don't break.
I mean, they're solid metal. So that's like, I mean, resin is resin. It's more delicate for sure. Wood is basically a stick you whittle down. So there's going to be, like, you put pressure on a stick, it's
going to break.
It's going to break. We had someone asking about these wood trays, though.
Can we talk about them, please?
Yeah, we can. Can
we talk about them?
We barely launched metal, and we're like, let's talk about everything else. But they're made from mango.
I need one of those.
You do.
Because, when you're crocheting and you go and you put your hook down, it just rolls, so I need a hook tray.
Yeah, because they
keep it nice and safe.
Where you want to put it.
Yeah.
So now I have all my pens on my desk too, because that's like, I have one for my pens, one for my hooks.
Yes. So when are those going to be available?
Hold please. I should have all this memorized, but I don't. It is going to be, I realize now soon to me and soon to other people are two totally different things, because I feel anything like in the first half of the year is soon.
Oh, okay.
Okay. It's looking like the first half of February is what I have planned.
Okay. Well, that's not too far away. We're
It's
at the
not.
end of January, so soon.
How does that happen?
I don't know.
I
Like
don't know.
already this year is
Yeah,
like flying by. I'm like, wait, next week is the end of the month? That's
I
craziness.
know.
Yeah.
Of 2023.
Of 2023.
We're
The
like a
other
month
day,
away.
my daughter and I was sitting on the couch, and I don't know if we were watching something or she said something, and she was like, "Yeah, 2013 was 10 years ago." And I was like, "No, it wasn't." She was like, "Yes, mommy, 2013 was 10 years." I was, "How did that happen?" And then the other thing, Pam, there's TikTok, of course. There's this young lady on there who does these outlandish outfits that she does and makeup and all of this stuff. I can't ever remember her name, but it's always outlandish. And she's like, "Yeah, I got this vintage shirt, blah blah blah." And I'm looking at it, I'm like, I remember that shirt from when I was growing up.
I think
So
I wore that last week. Yeah, like
1980s is vintage.
Is it? I think it is. Same thing happened where they were talking about like 30 years ago in 1994. And I'm like, what?
Like that was not 30 years ago. Stop
Like,
it.
doing like, where's my calculator? There's no way. And then I'm like, well, yeah, because I would have been like, however
Isn't it
old, right?
crazy how time, like, you can't wrap your mind around it because it's like, what?
Yeah.
2013 was 10 years ago. That feels like it was just yesterday. What do you mean 10 years ago? So, oh my gosh.
Hate
Yep.
to break it to you, Diane.
1980s is vintage, honey.
Yeah.
19 I was like, "Wait a minute. What?" I was so offended every time I
Mhm.
would watch her videos, and she's like, "Yeah, I got this vintage bag, and I got this," and I'm, expecting something from the 50s. No, honey,
No.
1980s is vintage.
Like, I was going through all of our, like, we've got this one closet that has each family member has a bin, and
Mhm.
it's like our memory box,
I
right? So
love
things we
it.
want to, yeah. I was going through mine because I was like adding, some like birthday cards or something to it. And do you know what I have in there?
What do you have?
My Teen Beat magazines.
Stop it. I wish I would have kept those things. Like I didn't have the, mindset to keep them, but that's
Oh
so
yeah,
teen
yeah.
beats.
Mm-mm.
Oh.
So one of the things, like, where what was I doing? Oh, it was on TikTok as well.
Mhm.
Gotta love TikTok.
I know,
And
right?
then there was this post from someone who, what were they doing? I don't remember, but it had to do with Sean Hunter from Boy Meets
Mhm.
World.
Okay.
Okay, Rider Strong Forever. Like,
Mhm.
he was on the cover of these
Mhm.
issues, and like I have the posters on my walls. Oh
Me
my god. Okay. And it turns out they have this podcast now of, I think it's Pod Meets World. And so I went to go watch it. And sure enough, oh, look at,
Yeah, fix that. I was getting
sure
ready to
enough,
tell you.
distracting. And then sure enough, like, they were talking about how the Danielle Fishel, who played Topanga, was
Mhm.
mentioning how she's a little worried she remembers nothing from filming that, like, really. But then I don't remember, one of the other actors was like, but if you think about it, how many people can look back and remember everything they did every day when they were 12 years old?
Right.
It was just what they did. Like, that was
Right.
their Monday to Friday
Right.
for 7 years, I think it went on. And then I was thinking 12 years ago, and I'm going back, or not 12 years ago, right? But
When
when I
I
was
was
12,
12. Yeah.
and I'm like, that it was a lot longer ago than I want to admit. Because I'm
Yeah.
thinking, oh, that was only like, 15 years ago. Or
No.
Mhm.
It's a long time ago. I look at my oldest son, I'm like, "Man, you're 18." Like, I
Mhm.
remember being
Yeah,
18. Like, I remember being 18 and you're like, how did that happen?
I know. I
I'm
feel
not
beyond
ready.
vintage, fall straight to antique. Oh, my mom is watching. Hi, mom.
Well,
Oh, that's
hi.
like
Oh my
my living room at Christmas.
goodness. Hello.
She
Yay,
can
mom.
speak. She can speak to my Teen Beat magazine. Tiger Beat was the other one. Yeah, a long time ago.
Oh my
Posters.
god.
Oh yeah, I'm
Yeah.
trying to remember who else. Like, I had, like, those like teenage girl
Mhm.
or preteen. I don't even remember when it was, but like, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah,
Oh,
I had it wasn't Teen Beat, it was the other one that was for obviously for the R&B and hip hop black
yes.
girls. I cannot remember the name. Word Up. Word Up magazine was what we had, and I was a huge New Edition fan. So I had all the New Edition posters on my wall, but on my side of the room. Like I had to share a room with my little sisters. So on my side of the wall was all the Word Up magazine, posters of my New Edition guys. It's just crazy. Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Kids don't have that now though. They don't. My daughter decorated her wall with like album covers and things like that she loves. But
Yeah.
like they don't have the magazines and stuff that we had.
Well, I mean, we didn't have the internet, so we couldn't
No,
just
we
look
didn't.
up our favorite anything, right? Like
Anything.
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 So
Yeah.
it just had me thinking too
But
about the
do you
music.
think they have an advantage over us, or do you think they're
Mm,
missing out on some of the things? Like you just said, you have a box
yeah.
that you can go to and pull out the physical
Yeah. They'll
items,
have a
right?
Google Drive.
They'll have a Google Drive that might delete their stuff and then it'll be gone forever.
So, well, I mean, anything could happen to this stuff too. But if you think about it, you
Mhm.
said you don't even have those things. So they might at least still be you know what? I don't think
It's
there's an advantage or a disadvantage because
Yeah,
I think
it just
it,
is what it
I
is.
remember growing up too.
Mhm.
Mom's right here watching and could probably attest to this. I know she had said those kind of things too, like, well, when I remember when I was young and we had it like this,
Mhm.
and it's going to be the same thing like when our kids are then
Yeah.
the parents, and they're probably going to be like, well, in you know 2010 when I was however, this is how we did it, and I'm sure it's just
It
because it's
just
a
it
collective
happens. Yeah.
experience, right?
Yeah.
And you don't
Yeah.
know different, I think
Yeah.
is
Yeah. I
yeah.
agree. I just love it. But one thing that I love about what we do is that our crocheting, our knitting, we're able to
Mhm.
hand those things down, right? And then when you think about Furl's crochet hooks, I remember we were on a live once and somebody said they're willing their hooks to a family member.
Yes.
And that was just so important to me that my children know how important this stuff is that we're making, that people are taking time to create and come up with these amazing designs. And then somebody is sitting down and taking hours and days and to make things with our hands. So
Yeah.
I really hope that everybody here, you're passing it on to somebody. Last night, my daughter doesn't know how to cornrow, which
Right.
is,
Yep.
braiding. And I was like, I failed you as a mother. How do you not know?
So I was actually just going to say that in response to your comment about passing things down.
Mhm,
That's where we come in
mhm.
as the parents. It's our job to make sure
Yep,
we are instilling those values
yep.
and traditions with our children. And I mean, it's a bit on us too, because our parents,
Mhm.
when they were our age, say 30 years ago or however old we all were, um, they also didn't have the distraction of the internet and the phones and
Yep.
the this and the that.
Mhm.
And so their parenting was different than ours is
Ours.
now. And so it
Yeah.
is up to us to make sure we are also not a
Mhm.
victim of the technological advances, and we're taking time and like it's not up to the kids to
It's
have
up
those
to us.
experiences. It's up to us to give them those experiences.
Yep, and we have to be, purposeful about it, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, we have to be purposeful about passing these things down, whatever it is, whether it's crochet or knitting or, whatever it is that you do that you want to keep alive, we have to continue to pass it on, otherwise it will die,
Yeah.
so I hope that everybody is doing that in their own way, however you choose to do it. Make sure that you keep our craft alive,
Mhm. I
so
agree.
yeah, it's so important.
Oh,
I
I love
love
hearing.
hanging out with you, Pam. Oh,
Oh,
it's been
thanks.
so long.
So, this might be a time then to bring up something else I'd like to talk about, when
Do.
it comes to, have spending time with your kids and especially offline. I mean,
Mhm.
online I think is great too, because that's also an opportunity as if the internet's not going away. And I
Mm-mm.
mean, I even see the way things are happening at the schools and,
Mhm.
it
Mhm.
really is a part of life now.
Mhm.
So you can also be present with them online and teach them, the ins and the outs and the how to's, and be present where they are at the moment.
Yes.
Because forcing them to,
Mm.
not going to work.
Don't do it.
My husband keeps trying to show them the movies and things he liked when he was a kid, and they're like,
Mhm.
"What is this?"
My husband does that too.
Okay, yeah. So it's meeting them where they are, but also looking for new ways to introduce
Mhm.
analog
Mhm.
crafts
Mhm.
and opportunities. And one of the things I did recently was I purchased a brand new coloring book for my daughter,
Did you?
written by Deveter and her husband Sticks Bones. Can we talk about that for a moment, please?
Okay.
It is newly available.
It is. It's available on Amazon. We haven't done a marketing campaign yet. We haven't really. I released it, I put it up on Amazon and I
Mhm.
told Pam.
Yeah. And then before we were even done talking, it was on its way to me. So,
So I didn't even get my Arthur copies yet, but we released a new book. It's called Counting Numbers with Fruit. It's super fun and it's a coloring book that also has a song that goes along with it. So on the back of the coloring book is a QR code to click and you can get the song, and I'm singing. Okay,
I meant to have the book with me, but like I said, I literally skidded into the studio, so I didn't have time to grab it, but
it's so much fun. My husband and I did this song. I think the twins, they're now 14. They may have been 4. And
wow.
I'd been thinking about it, like, shouldn't we do a coloring book? Shouldn't we do something with this? Like, we have this, we need to release it. We never released it. And I asked him earlier in the year, well, it's still early in the year, but I asked him earlier this month, what do you think? Because I had worked on the coloring book over the summer. I was like, what do you think about releasing it? Can we put the
Mhm.
song on? What can we do? Blah, blah, blah. Long story short, he agreed. And so he just did the copywriting of the song and giving the credit to whoever worked on the music and stuff like that. And so, yeah, it's available on Amazon, you guys. This is coloring book number 2.
Woo! I'm the proud owner of both. Well, my daughter is, I suppose, but
I love you so much, Pam. Like,
I love you
I
too.
just love how you support and, you get on board, non-crochet related, but still, a craft and something cool to do. So thank you. Thank you, guys. I'll, once we get the Arthur copies and all that stuff, I'll start promoting it. We're trying to figure out how to get it into the hands of teachers and maybe preschools, because it is a great educational tool for
Mhm.
little ones to teach them not only number recognition, but fruit recognition as
Right.
well. So it would be a great way to really get kids learning. If you're a homeschooler, something to keep them busy, like that kind of thing. It's really important to me. Kids, education is really important. Oh, so since you mentioned that book, I want to talk about the boy in the green sweater with his
Yes.
green sweater, because
Mhm.
I figured out how to do the hood and I'm going to show y'all him.
Oh, yes. Okay, so we were talking about the you were gonna make a doll with the and you were look at this. Oh, I love him.
What in it? I kind of free-handed and looked at other people's patterns. It was like, I'm gonna figure something out. Definitely have some learning to do as far as the hood is concerned, but I did
Ah,
what you suggested. I did the around thing. That's what I did. And then
yeah.
I just sewed it on his shirt.
He looks so cute.
Isn't he adorable? I just love him. And this pattern is by it's the Elijah doll by Aniqua, My Kind of Thing. And I just love him. I think he's so cute. This
He
is
is so look
Jaden.
at that face on
Yeah,
him.
adorable. His little ears, his little hood. So he goes
Congratulations.
with this book. Can't see
Mhm.
it, but he goes with this book. I'm just
Such a
having
good
fun,
story.
y'all. Truth of the story is, whatever it is that you do, make sure that you can find some joy in it.
Mhm,
Even my 9 to 5, my regular job, just finding joy within that and learning about
mhm.
influencers and influencer marketing and all that stuff. People work really hard
Yeah.
They work really hard to provide us with content. It's not easy.
Mhm.
I was in San Francisco last week, and I felt like I was on the entire time. Like there was no downtime. I was on, and I'm like, I don't want to be on anymore.
Mhm.
But I had so much fun. So whatever it is that you're doing, make sure you find the fun in it. And sometimes, doing all of this stuff, like I see Ola Joe, she's got her new YouTube shorts going where she's, giving little tidbits of info. And at the end, she goes, catch it. I said, okay, Ola Joe, I see you. But I just love it. I love to see where people are, trying to reinvent themselves,
Yeah.
trying to grow, because like you said, the internet is not going anywhere. It's going to be around for a long time. What are you putting out there? What are you putting out in the atmosphere, and what do you expect to get back from it? So all good things though.
Absolutely. Wonderfully said. I love that.
Pizza.
Love that. Something that I've been doing with my daughter lately too is just teaching her about self-care.
Yes.
So, just, and especially as women and as we get older, if it's not something that we've practiced, because it is a skill.
It's a
I
skill.
think that we forget that sometimes too. Like everything you do has some type of skill behind it. And some of it you've been doing for so long that
Mhm,
you don't realize it's a skill you've learned that you are doing, like
mhm,
washing the dishes, like just a
mhm,
weird example, because that's all I
mhm.
could think of. Um, you weren't born knowing how to wash dishes. It's something that you had to, you trial and error, like different things that you do. And self-care is the same thing.
Mhm.
You have to practice it until
Yep,
it becomes part of your routine. You learn what type of self-care brings you that inner peace in that moment, and it can be doing something physical, or it can be just doing something very quiet. It
yep.
could be all or none of that, and sometimes self-care for me is doing the loud things and, being with friends and staying up all night in a
Mhm.
hotel room. Right? And it could be exhausting, but that fills me,
Yeah.
and with her, we're doing the same thing where, in the evenings, we've taught her how to properly wash her face, and
Yes.
then she has this little, like like a lotion
Mhm,
moisturizer, it's just like
mhm,
aloe vera or something,
mhm,
and
mhm.
she puts that on, and I'm teaching her, and then, like, reversing that to why it's also important that mommy has time for self-care and alone time, and, it's to make sure to remember that I'm a person
Yes.
as well,
Yes.
and that we all deserve that. So
That really made me think, we don't talk about this for men. They need to
mhm,
practice self-care as well. It's not easy being a man. Like, I look at my husband sometimes and I'm just like, man, how do you do it all? Where I'm sure he looks at me and says the same thing, right? We
mhm.
all need to give each other grace because
Yeah.
it's not hard being a mom and it's not hard being a dad. I mean, it's not easy, girl, because it's hard. It's not
I knew what
easy.
you meant until you corrected yourself, and then, like, I didn't catch that. Yeah.
It is not easy
Yeah.
in this world in general, right? So we all need to figure out how to practice self-care,
Mhm.
and I know that Merrick is seeing you do this with Mackenzie. He needs to know too, like there are some things that
Absolutely.
you need to do for yourself too.
Mhm.
Whatever that looks like, it might look different for a man or a boy, but they need to practice self-care too. Like I talk to my sons about that. Like my youngest son, he's starting to get more into how he looks and how he smells and
Yeah.
that kind of thing. I'm
Yeah.
like, what's her name? But I want him to know that I support that. And
Oh,
I'm
for
like, okay, what do
sure.
you need? So for Christmas, he asked for cologne. I was like, okay, you can get your cologne. So we need to make sure that we are balanced as, parents too, making sure that both boy
Such a
and
good
girls,
point.
get the
Absolutely.
same.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I love that. Leah and I, we have a podcast as well,
Yes.
and we did a podcast on self-care, just what it is and how you implement it. Like you
Mhm.
said, it's different for everybody. I'm not necessarily a take a bubble bath person. So
Yeah.
that wouldn't be self-care for me. That's like work because I'm thinking about cleaning the tub
Oh my
afterward
god.
and I
Like,
think I'm
then
gonna
you
take
sit
a shower
there and you're like,
after. Like
"How
I
long
need
am
to
I supposed
sleep
to
in
be
my
in here?"
own
No, I totally get it.
But every 2 weeks going to get my nails done, that's self-care for me because that's something
Yeah.
that I enjoy doing. I
Mm,
enjoy that someone is taking care of me, that kind of thing. So whatever your
absolutely.
self-care, if it's going and buying some hooks and some yarn, that could be your self-care too, honey.
You happen to need a new hook. Might we recommend
The pearls.
the new streamline
Streamline
metal?
middle.
Just restocked. Again, we we do not yet have an order in for a restock of the restock because we are trying to figure out, we're working with our manufacturer to perfect the process because it turns out it takes a really long time to do it the way we're doing it. So, because again, handmade.
Handmade,
These
yeah.
are not machine made. These are handmade products. So, this is so funny. Someone self-cared today.
I love
that.
it. Yes.
Loved
Yes,
that.
yes, yes. Good
Yeah.
for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
If I can figure out how to crochet in the tub, I'll be good. Is there waterproof yarn? I mean, like, I guess nylon would probably be the closest.
And a metal hook.
Yeah.
You'd be good to go.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, I guess just overall establishing your own boundaries,
Yes.
making sure you're, respecting your own boundaries too.
Yes.
And I would think it's safe to say that we're all here today because crochet really is one of our forms of self-care,
Yes, it is.
or at least it started that way.
Right.
So bring the joy back in. I did see a comment earlier. We didn't have a chance to talk about it, but someone talked about free form crocheting and how freeing that is because, sometimes if you're too stuck on a stitch or getting it right or gauge or whatever it happens to be, you don't have to follow the rules just because they're there.
Right.
I mean, if you want the thing to turn out exactly as is, yes, okay, of course you have to follow the rules. But if you're just looking as a way to stretch your creative skills and your thinking, and you want to I know sometimes we refer to it as mindless crochet, but it is in the way that it lets your mind free.
Yeah.
Just do whatever you want. Make
I
whatever
love
happens,
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I love that too.
Yeah. You're doing it. So why not just do what you want to do?
Right?
What's the worst that could happen?
I mean, unless it's an order for a customer, then you
Well,
should
that's
probably do.
That's different. That's a little different.
But there's
But
something,
yeah.
especially if you're frustrated with whatever project you're working on, set it aside and just do literally anything.
Anything. I
Yeah.
love that. You're allowed. I feel like sometimes we are asking for permission, right? You're allowed. Just do it.
It's your hook. It's your yarn.
It's your yarn.
Time.
What's the worst that could happen? You just frog it.
Unless it's mohair.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
yeah. Don't, yeah.
Listen, I am going to say something controversial here. Just putting that out there. This is not some
caveat.
You are also allowed to throw away a whip that you no longer find joy in.
Yep, I've done it.
I get we don't waste. I get that. But at the same time, so maybe give it to someone who will frog it. Maybe.
Right.
Or donate it. Or you do not have to hold on to the things that are causing stress and anxiety.
Yeah.
This turned into a different kind of.
But it's a good conversation. And that can go beyond crochet, right?
For
Get rid
sure.
of the things that are causing you stress and anxiety. You can't get rid of your kids, though. They belong to you, so don't get rid of them. But I love this. I love it, love it, love it. Yay.
Yeah.
Great conversation, Pam.
I can't waste the yarn, have to frog it. That's fine.
Yeah.
That's if you're, hey, that's fine. I totally get it. I think there came a point, it was a big moment for me when I remember I had this really beautiful hank of silk yarn. Gorgeous. I spent a lot of money on it. Ridiculous. Not ridiculous.
I know.
You know what I mean. I hope you know what I mean.
Yeah, of course.
Worth it, but at that moment, that was like the most expensive yarn I'd ever purchased.
Mhm.
And I did not yet have a Swift and winder. And when I was trying to do it, it got all tangled. I spent so many hours trying to untangle it. And then I put it in timeout for a while and I'd come back because I knew I had invested in this yarn.
Yeah.
And the most freeing thing I could do in that moment was cutting out that knot or that
Yeah.
like ball. And
Yeah.
I realized that you can always weave in the ends. Like, why was I so stuck?
Adamant about keeping it. Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah.
the same thing when I realized I had all these piles of whips
Mhm.
that I knew I was never going to finish, because if you're someone like me, especially with ADHD,
Mhm.
you are always on to the next idea
Mhm. Mhm.
all the time. And
Mhm.
sometimes you just have, like, when I could finally admit to myself, this was before I knew that I had ADHD.
Mhm.
The moment I could admit to myself that I was never going, it's not that it was a bad idea or that I
Right.
didn't want to finish it, but
Mhm.
realistically,
I'm not gonna
it
finish it.
wasn't going to be as much fun to me as the next thing.
Mm.
And so when I allowed myself to just frog it all and I
Mm.
balled up the yarn and I saved it for something else, or I don't remember what I did with the yarn after, but I remember frogging it all apart and then looking at the individual balls of yarn.
Mhm.
It felt so good. Like
Mm.
that moment that I let myself just be who I am and
Yeah.
not try to force myself to do something that I had to be realistic, right?
Yes.
And yeah, I think that's
That's so good,
part of
man.
it. Yeah, that was Avis was, saying the same thing. I started frogging old whips. It felt so good.
It's to let go of projects that aren't fun anymore. Yeah, man. You can do that. You're allowed. You're
So
allowed.
you and I have talked about this before, about the number of whips you have going on at one time, right?
Mhm.
Because 'Cause you're like a one
I'm a
project
one
at a
whip girl.
time. Mhm.
Only because of that, like, the anxiety that I would get knowing that I have something sitting over there that needs to get completed, I couldn't focus on the next thing that I wanted to start. So, I'm like, I have to finish one in order to move on to the next, so
Yeah.
that's me.
I'm like, as I'm looking at my whip pile beside me going, "Oh dear." So I even on my mannequin, I've been working on that for like a year. But
Wow.
I mean, I know, but that is one that I do wanna finish.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
I'm okay with that, but I think it's recognizing the difference.
Yeah.
The only whip I do have that I know I'm probably not going to finish, but I'm keeping anyway, is it was actually a sweater I had started for my dad when he was, going through chemo, and,
Oh.
I had hoped to finish it before, so that while he was going through treatments, he could wear it.
Mhm.
Every time I picked it up, I just started sobbing and I couldn't do it. And
Mm.
then, of course, he passed in, the fall of 2020.
Mhm,
I can't take that apart.
mhm.
I
Yeah.
don't know if I'll ever finish it. So, like,
Mhm.
there might be a time where maybe I make it and finish it for my son
Yeah.
or,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
I'm also not putting pressure on myself that way,
Mhm.
where I'm just kinda like I've been doing a lot of self-reflection lately. Like, just really thinking about, why I do things, how I do them, um, trying to break some patterns a little bit, or accepting others. Did I freeze? I don't know if I froze or if Deveter froze. I see the comments still going. Who's frozen? Can anybody tell me who's frozen in here? Oh my gosh. Anyway, so okay, Deveter froze. So, okay. Um, so yeah, so that's what I've been kind of looking at, is trying to, just oh, and it's just me. That's okay. Deveter will join back when when she has her internet back. Actually, this might be a good time to wrap up anyway, because I know we've all got things we have to do. Um, Thank you so much for joining us today. We honestly were just going to talk about how excited we are for Streamline Metal. I think the conversation went in a really wonderful direction, and I hope you all feel that she fell out the window. Hopefully not. Yes, Deveter's. I'm sure she'll be back. So, oh, I love all those comments that are coming in. And yeah. So thank you all for being here. Thank you, Deveter, wherever you went. Streamline Metal is back in stock, so you can go and get one. I think I still have the link that I'm going to drop in the comments here. And I think that's all. So everyone have a wonderful day. Go get your Streamline. Oh, she's back. Okay, hold on. Hold on.
My internet went out. So yeah. But here I am.
I didn't know who froze.
Me too. I was like, did I freeze? Or did she freeze?
So then everybody was, yeah. They're like, Deveter's gone.
Sorry, guys. My internet went out. But I'm back.
Probably signed to wrap it up anyway, because we've been going on for about 45 minutes. So yeah, I was just thanking everybody for being here and joining us on this incredible journey of a conversation we've been having. So yeah, go get your Streamline Metal. Make a little time for yourself. Make sure you're practicing self-care and you're passing that on to the future generations so that, you know, we can all learn from each other. Book name again.
So the first one is, can you see that? Is that the right way?
Yes.
What's it called? The Boy and His Green Sweater.
Yes.
And the second one is called Counting Numbers with Fruit.
I can't drop a link because if I do, it's going to be a Canadian one. And then I'm going to get people mad that their storefronts can't go back to whatever country they're from. I've learned that the hard way.
Really? That happens?
It does. So if you go on Amazon and search Deveter Brown,
yes,
I mean, you're going to find it. I would
think. Thank you.
So
my heart is so warmed. I love my people.
I miss you.
Thank you again, Pam, for having me. I always have fun when I come and chit chat with you. This is a great conversation and a great end to the week, I think, for me anyways. Sorry I went down for a little while, but glad that I was able to jump back
down
on.
but not out.
Down but not out.
All right.
Don't count me out.
All right, everybody. Thanks again for joining. Check out the website. We do have that restock and new launches page. It will be updated weekly or as we have more information. And